Most people using AI are doing it wrong, which is why it's surprisingly easy to get ahead of 99% of them. I've spent over 20 years in tech and AI as a CEO, board member, and investor, building billion-dollar companies. And here's what I'm seeing. The gap between people who understand AI and those who don't is growing wider, faster. In this video, I'll give you a clear 7-step roadmap to master AI like the top 1%. And the best part is, you can actually do it in just 30 days, even if you're a complete beginner. Let's dive in. Week 1 starts with learning what I call machine English. Most people talk to AI like it's a person, and that's a huge mistake. Why? Because generative AI systems like ChatGPT don't actually understand our language. They predict it. And that's where most people get stuck. If I said, Humpty Dumpty sat on a, your brain immediately filled in wall. You knew what was coming. Your brain predicted it. You could have said, Humpty Dumpty sat on a roof. That's still accurate, but you knew wall was more likely based on what you've seen before. Think about Google search. It autocompletes the same way. Why? Because it's seen millions of searches before, learned from them, and now suggests the most likely option. AI models like ChatGPT or Gemini work in a similar way, but they're different from search engines. They don't store pre-baked answers. They generate answers in real time. So how do they do that? At a high level, AI breaks your text into smaller pieces called tokens. Each token is a word, or sometimes part of a word. Humpty might be one token, Dumpty another, sat another, wall another. Then AI converts each token into a list of numbers, also called multidimensional vectors. Those numbers live inside a massive mathematical space called an embedding space. Inside that space, similar ideas sit closer together. The system has learned from past examples. So words like Humpty, egg, wall, and fall cluster together, while words like motorcycle or chocolate are far away. When it's time to generate an answer, AI looks at the context and predicts the most likely next token. So when it sees Humpty Dumpty had a great, it weighs the options. A great party, a great day, a great chocolate. And it sees that fall is the most likely outcome. So the sentence gets completed not from memory, not from stored facts, but from probability and proximity. That's why AI can feel incredibly smart and also strangely alien. Now, I'm skipping a lot of detail here, but the key takeaway is this. When your prompt is vague, this guessing machine called ChatGPT or Gemini gives you vague guesses. When your prompt is sharp and specific, AI responds with sharp and specific guesses. That's what I call machine English. It helps AI compute your intent, not just try to understand it. So what does a sharper prompt look like? I call it AIM. A is for actor. Tell the model who it's acting as. I is for input. Give it the context and data it needs. M is for mission. Tell it exactly what you want it to do. Instead of typing, fix my resume, try this. Hey ChatGPT, you are the world's most in-demand resume editor and business writer. You've reviewed thousands of resumes that led to interviews at top tech companies. You've told the AI its role. Second line, I'm attaching my resume and the job description for a senior product manager role at a fintech company. That's your input. Third is mission. Review it and give me a bullet list of 10 specific ideas on how to improve clarity, measurable impact, and alignment with the role. Your mission is to help me build the strongest resume that gets me hired. That's how you aim. It turns a prompt into a structure the model can understand, compute, and reason with. You can use this 3-part structure for almost any prompt, and once you do, you'll start seeing results that are 5 to 10 times better than before. Only when you learn its language does AI finally start working for you. Now that you know how to talk to AI, it's time to pick your instrument. Here's the problem. Most people start their AI journey the wrong way. They Google top 50 AI tools, pick 10, jump between them, and skim everything. That's a recipe for failure. Just too much. My advice is simple. Pick one. Go deep. Think about learning AI the same way you'd learn a musical instrument. There's a study in Frontiers in Psychology that found drummers learn guitar faster than complete beginners. Drumming isn't even melodic, and it requires totally different physical skills. But I had the same experience. I spent tens of thousands of hours as a drummer. When I picked up guitar, it wasn't easy, but it wasn't uncomfortable either. I already knew how to practice, and my brain was trained to see patterns and structure. The deeper you go with one foundational model, the faster you'll find the rhythm of all the others. So, which one should you choose? If you want the most mature option, pick ChatGPT. If you live inside Google's ecosystem, try Gemini. If you want a more business-focused, project-driven AI, go with Claude. But honestly, the specific choice doesn't matter that much. In week 1, spend real time with just one model. Learn its personality, its pacing, its limits, and its strengths. The goal is to start feeling the rhythm. Once you're comfortable, start using the AIM framework we talked about. By the end of week 1, writing a structured prompt should feel automatic. Now that you're using AI, let's talk about what actually makes output smart, and that's context. The smartest AI in the world will sound clueless without context. Every answer depends on how the question is framed. If you don't provide context, there's no grounding. Remember, inside these models, there's nothing but a massive mathematical space filled with billions of numbers. Context is the map that tells AI where to look and what matters. The best way to build that map is with an acronym I call MAAP. M is for memory. That's the conversation history or notes carried over from earlier chats. You can paste past threads or ask the model to summarize before continuing. That's how you build continuity. A is for assets, files, data, documents, or resources you attach or paste into the prompt. Assets ground the model in reality. The second A is for actions. These are tools the model can use. Search the web, scan your drive, write code, create a Notion doc. P is for prompt. That's the instruction itself. The better you get at memory, assets, and actions, the stronger your context becomes. And richer context leads to better reasoning and better answers. Once you start using frameworks like AIM and MAP, you've already joined the top 10% of AI users. But to reach true expert level, there's one more thing you need. Debug your thinking. That's step 4. When the answer is wrong, the problem isn't the AI, it's your thinking. I remember the first time I ever prompted an AI. It was one of the earliest OpenAI models. I spent an entire day trying to understand it. By the end, I was frustrated. It felt random, unpredictable. Back then, no one understood what was happening. The term prompt engineering didn't even exist yet, because prompting isn't typing, it's iterating. When the output is weak, I assume the fault is mine, because it usually is. Did I set the right persona? Did I give enough context? Was the goal clear? Sometimes I even ask the model directly, what did you do? And why did you choose that answer? It will explain its reasoning, its chain of logic. That's when things click. You're not just using AI anymore, you're learning how it thinks. There are 3 cheat codes I use for this. First is the chain of thought pattern. When an answer feels off, I say, think step by step, show your reasoning, then give me the final concise answer. Second is the verifier pattern. I say, ask me 3 questions that would clarify my intent. Ask them one at a time, then combine what you've learned and try again. Third is the refinement pattern. Before answering, I ask the AI to propose 2 sharper versions of my question. Then I choose which one I prefer. That's A. Teaching me how to ask better questions. You keep iterating with these patterns. These loops teach the model how to understand you, and teach you how to understand the model. Test, tweak, tune, push, until you know exactly why something works and why something feels off. That's when it clicks. You're no longer talking at AI. You're having an ongoing conversation. You and the AI are learning together. But here's the catch. If your post sounds like every other LinkedIn post pasted from ChatGPT, you still have a problem. That's why step 5 is steering toward experts. When you ask ChatGPT a question, you're not querying a database. You're sampling from millions of probable ideas stored as numbers. Some are brilliant, some are average, some are completely made up, and some are just wrong. If you prompt vaguely like, explain how to make a team more innovative, you'll get a generic buzzword-filled answer. You'll read it and think, yeah, I already knew that. So how do you fix it? You steer the model away from the middle and toward the sharp edges of its thinking. Instead, say this. Explain how to make a team more innovative using ideas from Pixar's Brain Trust, Satya Nadella's strategy, and Harvard research. Now you've pulled the model from mediocrity toward mastery. By navigating it toward experts, frameworks, depth, what if you want to learn about black holes, but what if you don't know the experts? Easy. Ask AI first. List the top experts, researchers, and key papers on black holes. Then feed that list back into the model and say, synthesize these perspectives into a framework that fills current gaps in black hole research. That's how you avoid turning AI into an echo chamber. But you still need step 6. Verification. Sometimes AI will confidently tell you things like, 68% of Americans are getting divorced. It sounds believable, but it's wrong. The scary part is, I sounds just as confident when it's wrong as when it's right. You can tell it to stop making things up, but all generative models are designed to generate. So you verify, don't just consume. Critique. There are 5 ways to separate intelligence from illusion. First, assumptions. Ask, list every assumption you made and rank them by confidence. Second, sources. Cite 2 independent sources for each major claim. Include the title, URL, and a 1-line quote. Now you can check the scaffolding behind the answer. Third, counter evidence. Push back. Find one credible source that disagrees with this answer and explain why. That's where real reasoning shows up. Fourth, auditing. Ask, recalculate every figure. Show your math or code. You'll be shocked how often numbers change when you slow things down. And fifth, cross-model verification. This one's my favorite. Run the same prompt in ChatGPT, Gemini, and Claude. Take the output from one and ask another to critique it. Or feed claims from one model into another and say, verify this. That's how you separate noise from knowledge. By the end of week 3, you'll feel more control over your output. But here's the truth. The best AI outputs don't sound the most original. They sound like you. That's why step 7 is developing taste. Most people use AI like a vending machine. They push a button, grab generic output, and move on. And everyone can tell it was copy-pasted. But you're past that now. It's week 4. It's time to step into the ring. Treat AI like a sparring partner. Argue with it. Push back, sharpen your thinking. That's where the Ocean framework comes in. It's how you turn generic answers into insights that sound like you. O is for original. Is there a non-obvious idea? If not, push it. Give me 3 angles no one else is talking about. Label one as risky and recommend the strongest. C is for concrete. Are there real names, examples, and numbers? If not, ask. Back every claim with a real example. E is for evident. Is the reasoning visible? If not, ask. Show your logic in 3 bullets. Provide evidence before the final answer. A is for assertive. Does it take a clear stance? If not, push again. Pick a side. State your thesis, defend it, and address the best counterpoint. N is for narrative. Is there a story? Does it flow? If not, guide it. Write this as a story. Hook, problem, proof, and action. That's how you add taste to your output. As you apply this over 30 days, you'll notice something deeper. Every prompt, every revision, every judgment. You're not just training the model, you're training yourself. AI is coming whether we like it or not. For some, it triggers deep fears. But I'm an optimist. I don't think AI is here to replace human work. I think it's here to restore human worth. If you like this video, subscribe and check out my most recent video here. Thank you.